So welcome back. I'm going to be looking at the AMD Tribute project that I've been working on, and I've got some extra parts now ready to actually be mounted to the case. So we've got the original front, and I've started to tidy up the cables where we actually changed the USB from an earlier video. We've got the red fans that I did a video on not so long ago. These are LED fans, and what I've done to these is I've bracketed them together with some 3D printed brackets, and I've updated the wiring for it so that it's actually into one now, so two fans run from one. I didn't want to run a splitter because it was additional cabling, and I've tidied it all up now with a bit of braiding. I've got an extra cable that is for some of the light bars that we've designed for this case. That's got to be installed too when these are installed, so it's all in the right place. And I've managed to get hold of one of these. Now these seem quite rare. They're something that AMD and Radeon did a while ago. I hadn't seen them before, but I managed to find one, source it out. It wasn't that expensive, but it's pretty cool. This is an SSD drive it's a Radeon branded SSD drive. It's 120GB, which is more than enough for this machine. And they're pretty good looking, and I think this is going to finish off the machine quite well. So I'll get them fitted now. This is the case. I've rejigged some of the wiring since last time you saw it. It's pretty much together now, and the first thing that we're going to install is the twin fan system onto the front. Now these will actually act as blowers, so they'll be sucking cool air from the front into the case and cooling everything down. So I need to just pop the wiring through, line the fans up and start attaching screws. So these fans are now secured in to the front. I've used all the screws so that it's actually super secure. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run the power line down for the light bars that are going to go on. It has to be run down now because once I've got the front on I won't be able to use the Molex to plug it in. So all it's going to do is slip down the side there, and it'll come out of the bottom. And we'll plug it in just up here into this plug. A bit to do it. I custom made that cable, so it should be just about the right length to be able to come out the bottom, and then it will tuck behind here once it's done. In actual fact, we can probably pull that up a little bit more, and that'll be tucked nicely into there. And now we can start installing the front. So for the front, I'm going to run the cables through. And I'm going to go through this hole, and then I'm going to take them straight out the back. Through this hole here, and then they'll be fed down to all the right components later when the motherboard's installed. And then as we feed those cables through, we can simply clip the front back on. So that's now all of our cables are through to the other side. From what you can see now, you can see where the issues that I was thinking I was going to have with cable management, because we've got to get all these cables hidden. But that is for when we put the back on and once the motherboard's in and we know where everything is. The last job to do today is to install the hard drive into the bottom. Now I've decided to install it into the bottom instead of somewhere else because it wouldn't fit where I was originally going to put it. I was originally going to install it into the top piece, but I've just not had a chance to be able to do that. It just didn't look right when I was measuring it up. So to install the SSD, just need to tip it down on its back, careful of the cables. And it comes with these screw holes at the bottom where the mounting is. And the screws feed straight through the bottom. Into the drive once you've lined it up. Now I like to make sure everything's got all of the screws available into it to make sure it's super secure. Some people don't do that. What they'll generally do is they'll just fit a couple of screws in, just enough to hold it. Sometimes that makes sense when I'm fitting it for testing, because otherwise you've got to sit there and undo all the screws again. But when I'm putting things in for the final piece, I'll make sure that all mountings are actually done. And that way you can always guarantee that it's super secure. This case actually came with a really good assortment of screws and things like that, which I tip into a little tray, and then I can use them as I go along and make sure I get the right ones in the right places. That drive is secure. So we've installed the hard drive into the bottom now, and that's looking pretty good. Once them lights come on, it's going to look even better because you're going to be able to see that through the side window. We've got the front fans installed and they are blowing the right way. They're going to be feeding air into the system, and then there's going to be an exhaust fan, which I've got over here, which is a fractal design fan, which I'm going to install into the back, but that's not going to be done yet until the motherboard's in because it's in the way. We've got all the cabling going to the back, which once the motherboard's in, I will plug into everything that it needs to plug into, and then we can drag all the cables back, make sure they're all nice and tidy, and pin them all away. We've got our extra cable in for our light bars, and that's pretty secure, so that's looking good. And we've got the front on. If you want to see more videos and the progress of this design, particularly when we get the light bars, because they are looking pretty smart, I've tested them up against it now, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video, and I'll see you again once we start putting the motherboard in.